Buddy. It's a bit weird right now. I just test my. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent. Other than that, it's gonna be a pretty short stream, like 10 minutes. I'm like, no plus. What the hell? I have so much. I have weekly to do on Alright, and maybe even this, even Genshin. But yeah, today I'm playing Genshin first because Alright is the main dish. It will take a long time. It will take longer because it is my main game. My main gacha game at least. Other than that, let's just wait for this to load. I mean, honestly, I might be clipping because I didn't test this enough, but if I do, I'm really sorry. No, I'm not, but I'm sorry. I sometimes wanna disagree with myself. I didn't know someone actually follow me. Wait a minute. I need to mute my Facebook and I forgot. Anyway, as always, it always takes so long to load in Genshin because yeah, that is just the reality of it. Anyway, do I have am I stupid? Did I not? Oh my god. I think I might not. Actually I think I forget to do my daily yesterday, dude. That's actually crazy. I mean, I don't really care though. It's Genshin. It's whatever game for me. Because I'm not day one player. Even if I do, uh, basically, there's no point on fantasizing about being a day one player. Maybe this will be my main game if I include when day one and day
Add Astra.
I mean, it's pretty.
Thank you for
Let's make sure. Okay.
Add Astra.
Mind
You
that.
have already.
I have not. I wrong button. Sorry. This one I mean. I see now. Yeah, I missed yesterday, dude. Get up. That is it. I missed yesterday. I missed yesterday, dude. Come on, man. It seems like the Genshin podcast and really as why am I being friended? This never happened to me. Like, look at my friend count. That's a pity. A pity, yeah. Right. It's 28, no? 29. Not his birthday. It's not his birthday, right? But it is his birthday. His birthday is actually 29, right? If I remember correctly. But today is not
Come take a
29.
look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
Definitely his birthday. I'm not trying to say anything. But anyway, other than that, I think we're done now. Tomorrow is hell though. Tomorrow I need to do
Add Astra.
commission, daily commission. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, what else to do? I mean, I can do Eve now, but I think I'm saving that for tomorrow. Maybe not. Maybe I'll never do them. I'll never do them. But in reality, I'm just pretty lazy with games here. And like I said, whatever game for me, I'm just playing it because I can. Something like that. I'm just playing it because I mean, it's just so much work compared to Stara. But that is such a short one, dude. I didn't even think that. Oh my god. Maybe it's a mistake. I don't care. Anyway, let's game immediately. Don't even care. I don't even care. But... And then after this, I might take a break, another one, for a couple of hours to to generate the chunk for my Minecraft world. Yeah, that's it. It's gonna be a while to generate those chunks. I think I want 5,000 radius, maybe? Or is it diameter? I actually don't know. Probably radius. So basically, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 if I'm not wrong. So 5,000 radius circle of chunk. I mean, it's pretty massive. If you think about it. If you really think about it, it's really massive, no? Anyway, I'm doing that after this. Yeah. So maybe I'll stream again at a later day, at a later hour. But other than that, that's all my plan I have for today. So I mean, maybe tomorrow I will fix my streaming. What is it called? My streaming layout, because this is horrible. It's black all over. Look at that. At this sidebar and this one, all is black. I don't even have chat at this one. I don't even have chat. And this one, I really don't know what to fill it with, but I'm gonna fill it. I mean, yeah, 16 layout will be tomorrow, maybe. I don't know if it's going to be before I stream or after. I promise to myself that it will be tomorrow. I promise no one else, because no one is watching. Only my two bots, lovely bots here. I mean, yeah, it's still loading slowly because I use HDD, so yeah, it's kind of bad. It's really bad. Days, okay. Don't go right away because we get more Primogen with the Foxy. Shut up. What is wrong with you? Attention seeker. Like literally, I don't get it. That never happened before. And now suddenly, Foxy's spamming that every day. Kinda annoying. Other characters didn't do that. Like literally didn't. Literally did not do that. I swear if next patch that happen like again, I'm gonna kill some. No, sorry. I'm sorry. Don't pain me. I'm kinda bad like that. Sometimes. Yeah. Do you know how like those bad words is actually being censored? I wonder why, like, because I quite I don't it for me it just don't have the same impact as it ever does, dude. Like English is my second language, as you probably can tell, but that words on my native language is really bad. I never say them. I never say them ever, but English is different. Maybe it's because I watch YouTube. So I learn Ireland. Ireland fucking. Ireland. Yes, I learn English from YouTube. That's why probably. But yeah. Wait, can we battle though? Like without without can we? Oh no. Yeah, we can't battle. Can battle without an unfit character. I never knew that actually. It's pretty interesting now. Anyway, Blade is my second favorite character, if you can know. The first one is obviously Sunday. I mean, it's not the real Sunday, it's my fantasy of Sunday, dude. Like, I kinda don't like Sunday, the real Sunday. I don't quite enjoy it. Just my headcanon Sunday that I quite enjoy. I mean, it's just fun. Yeah. Other than that, let's just play this one. I mean, yeah, cool. I'm gonna have blood max out before anything like that. The 13 universe is ending soon, so probably I will have stream dedicated for that. This next week actually, next week probably. After I pull for Foxy probably. Foxy is next week, no? I mean, will I get will I get her? Probably not. Probably not. I'm sad. I'm sad. Why did I pick that? I'm already sad that I won't be getting Foxy, dude. Oh my god. My Foxy. Oh. My Foxy. I want my Foxy. It Foxy in fucking what is it called? I forgot what this game is called. Oh my god, I'm blanking. I mean, is Foxy in the game mode already? I think it is, right? That's why there's gameplay of her. Non-league gameplay of her, I mean.
It's on me.
Yeah. Foxy is here, no?
I failed to send you. Watch your head.
I mean, this is pretty good follow-up theme if I say so myself. Pretty thematic, actually. It has a theme. That's what I'm trying to say.
No dirty
It's a
tricks.
pretty good theming.
I failed to send you. Watch your head.
Oh no. I won't be able to get this. Oh shit. I'm such an idiot. Why do I pick fucking Blade, dude? This shit. Like, Blade is so useless. It's so useless, dude. This shit. Let's have here. My god. I'm maxing my Sunday. Am I late? Oh my god. Sunday. I really need to get that out of my head. That's Sunday. That's Sunday.
No dirty
Yes.
tricks.
I think Blood Flame really has a lot of night demigod, so probably picking up Tenhen is pretty a good idea.
Spend freely.
Anyway, I still don't have adventure even though I want him.
Or maybe
Like the last
watch your head.
the last battle event is really I really need him for that, dude. The last battle event because you need shield for that. Some of the stage you need shield, which is yeah.
This big diamond!
Anyway, let me check my YouTube.
Time to twirl!
I am. Oh my god, copyright.
Time to twirl!
Why am I being copyright strike? Not bad. It's the same person, yeah. It's the same person.
No dirty trick. Watch your head.
Time to twirl!
Bust. Or maybe I'll take you.
Oh, it's Red Hans.
I won't break!
Fail to send you.
Time to twirl!
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
Yeah.
No dirty. Watch your head.
Hmm. Good. Hmm. Well, anyway. Reply. Okay, obviously. My god. The god. I mean, I'm not fully for her because I don't get the point. I don't get the point right now, but yeah. Like, I don't have Castorized, but Castoris.
Mountains roar. Kraken rise. Fail to send you.
Interesting.
Have some fun. Rise and shine.
Fail to send you. Spend freely. Or maybe I'll take it all. Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
I don't care. Huh?
Watch your head. Mountains roar. Dragons rise.
Your time to shine.
Fail to send you.
Till we meet again.
Come on. Anyway, what's going on? I was type out for some time. What's going on?
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
Oh my god. I'm not defeating this, aren't I? That's quite
To send you.
wonderful, isn't it?
No dirty trick.
Treat us nicely. Night falls.
I mean, Apple Knight is so cool though. I want her, but that's no point. It's just a waste of 5 star really.
Watch your head.
Unless it got buffed in the future,
Or maybe I'll take it all.
which I don't see in 1 or 2 years. 1 or 2 years.
Dragons rise.
I don't see it. I don't see it near at all. But other than that, yeah, I'm not getting her. And though I want to. And though it's his goal. mean, I can make take a 50-50 here. I mean, take a 50-50 from getting F9. Like I said, there's no point. I'm saving that for Sparksy. It's quite which, I mean, it's a new unit. It's always good. Unless you're, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I mean, new unit just has more value than a real random. Unless you already have the thing, which is probably, you know what? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, as damage is really low, no? Am I doing something wrong? Probably maxing blade first is probably wrong, no? It's pretty useless.
Fury upon you. I'll accept your punishment.
I mean, I also don't have mighty. I mean, his whatever, right? It's not that good. But literally, I mean, he's cool, but I don't really like him that much. We're not playing this game, dude. Come on. What bullshit is this? What kind of bullshit is this? Maybe we clear. Maybe we cleared actually. Oh wow, we cleared. Oh no, we did not clear. I'm a stupid. I'm sorry guys. Yep. I think we're losing this game, dude. We're losing this one, I mean. I'm stupid. I'm actually stupid. Idea. Yeah. Yeah. It's because I'm not winning anything. I mean, will Kafka absolutely destroy us? Maybe that will be. Yes. But yeah. Pakistan. And then this. Interesting. So I don't actually know if I split if my audio if my voice is connected to OBS or even the mic at this point. I don't know if the mic pick up my voice. That's it. I cannot formulate sentence at this point. Failed to sound.
How does that feel?
Burn it up. I'll accept your punishment.
Again. Rise and shine.
I failed to send you.
Yeah.
Conquer all lands. Earth shatters, heaven trembles.
Interesting. I don't think we're winning this either.
So feeble. Fury upon you. Failed to send.
Wait, come on, Kate. Jesus Christ. I know you're hot. Why you fall? You idiot. Come on.
Not so fast.
Take a guess.
Your time to shine.
Failed to send you.
Till we meet again.
Ah, we're not clearing. That's same there.
Earth shatters, heaven trembles.
Have some sunshine.
Ah,
Failed to send you.
that's so weak, dude. The shit.
Accept your punishment. Fury upon you.
My god.
True against mercy.
Failed to send you.
Rise and shine.
Boom.
Light falls.
Man.
Good night.
Mountains roar. Kraken rise.
Fucking sky.
Zoning out. I can help.
Failed to send you. Conquer all lands.
Oh my god, that's so much damage from my dude.
Skies.
Come on. Hit.
So feeble. Failed to send you.
Fuck. That's really bad. Actually, no.
So make up with
Never mind. It's not really bad. They're winning. Oh my god. Never mind, dude. We're not killing this.
Earth shatters, heaven
We are not winning. God. God. It's. There's no way I can fight this. There's no way to finalize this shit.
mountains roar. Kraken rise. So feeble. Failed to send you.
Boom. Come on, Blade. The fuck is that damage?
dispel the gloom. Restore the skies. Rise and shine. Light falls. Good night.
Failed to send you.
I'm a little bit.
Till we meet again.
Oh my god. What's that? That shit, dude. What is done here? This is
Send you.
kind of confused. That's just out.
Trembles.
Or something new.
Accept your punishment.
Okay. Is my audio clipping though? Don't know.
Mountains roar. Kraken rise. Burn it up.
Again.
Failed to send you.
Rise and shine.
Guys.
Fury upon you.
Have some sunshine.
Watching sunshine.
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
Those shadows.
Your time to shine.
Failed to send you.
Till we meet again.
Fuck. What the fuck, dude? Even. God, it's over. It's over. It's so over, dude. So over. So far.
Dispel the gloom! Stir the skies! Rise and shine!
I am struck. Burn it all.
Burn it all. And yeah. Okay, this is really such a long. It's like so long. That's for sure.
Till we meet again.
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
Oh shit.
Fury upon you.
Oh.
Accept your punishment.
Have some sunshine!
Will I even get the point for this wicket? Or do I need to start another run? Is that is so annoying if I need to start another run?
Stir the skies!
That is oh my god. This shit is small buddy.
Treat our guests mercy. Rise and shine!
What do you mean?
Forever doomed.
What do you mean, dude? No damage, dude. No fucking damage.
Conquer all lands.
It's really no damage.
Earth shatters. Heaven
What the fuck?
Your time to shine!
So far, dude.
send you.
Night falls.
It's so far.
Till we meet again.
Your offer. So far, dude. It's over. What did I just say? God. Stopper. Stop with it. It's so over.
Mountains move. Dragons rise. Sophie, I am struck. Fail to send you. Burn it all.
Have some sunshine! Dispel the gloom! Stir the skies!
Star the sky.
Night falls.
Fail to send you.
Rise and shine!
Yeah, it's over. So over.
Now accept your punishment.
I don't know how this game works.
Again! Again!
The currency was so good. So I'm pretty bad at it.
Fail to send you.
I have no idea.
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles. Sophie, conquer all lands.
Pretty bad now. I mean, it won't demote me, right? Yeah. That's very good. I'll do it. I think of it.
Forever doomed. Fail to send you. Mountains move. Dragons rise. Fury upon you.
Treat our guests mercy. Rise and shine!
My god. This is the end.
Feeble. Fail to
The end.
send you. Now accept your punishment.
It's over. It's over.
Have some sunshine!
Without leading to first, without being strict, it's pretty
The skies!
uninteresting. Revolves.
Earth shatters. Heaven trembles.
Yeah, it's over.
Conquer all lands.
I don't see. I mean, I don't know that much. Probably over now.
Don't be rash!
Carol, right? Carol. Painful. Please don't make me do that again. Don't make me do that again. not enough. Not enough. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'll probably just finish this real quick. One boss and done. You. That was fast. Can it wins? Not like. What is that? But why didn't I just sell this out? I show and that I can say that. Am I stupid? Am I actually stupid?
Don't let me down.
Show me what you can do. I'll give you 5 seconds.
I will protect all beauty.
Too slow.
I will protect all beauty.
I'm really stupid now.
Time to twirl! Self-inflicted misery.
I mean, it's good money. I feel like I mixed mainly, yeah.
I always deliver.
I will protect all beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the little backstabber?
I will protect all beauty.
Time to twirl!
Argently was colder. Argently was colder.
I will protect all beauty.
Time to twirl!
Was really cold. Power trap so hard, man. You really need a buffer. Nothing. US anything. not like anything. Why am I so quiet now? I mean, should I be close now? It's better.
I always deliver.
I will protect all beauty. I will protect all beauty.
I genuinely get off so far.
Insanity.
Want to play him again, dude. He's so fun.
I will protect all beauty.
I mean, I don't know why I always keep misgendering people, dude. Not my intention as well. I just, it's not my first language, dude. My first language don't have this fucking thing for now. I work shit, fucking shit.
Protect all beauty.
What am I even saying? It's fine.
Fiends or devils.
Go cross the mall.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty. That's it, dude. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done, bitch. Is this for real? I won't get ascension point. That's bullshit. That means that's something. I need a cloner. I don't know. Oh my god.
Don't let me down. I know what's late. Away we go!
Away we go.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty.
Protect all beauty. I will protect all beauty.
Wretched.
I will protect all beauty.
I will
Protect
protect all
all beauty. Protect all beauty. That's all I wanna hear, dude, honestly. Gonna lie. Like when battling, that's all I wanna hear. It's perma ulting. That is the way. That is the way. Protect all beauty.
I always deliver.
What is his line for ulti 2, dude? I don't actually know.
I will protect all beauty.
It's the same. Lame.
Self-inflicted
That's so lame.
Beauty is eternal.
What do you mean his ult is the same?
I will protect all beauty. I choose you. I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty.
Serenity is before me. I will watch over you and guide you on your path.
God, Junior. Go. Me. God, what am I even doing as well? Oh my god. I'm actually losing my mind. So, I guess I can skip that. Make it 3 times faster. I mean, it's not bad for that speed, but why not? Why not? Why not? Full time. Thanks for this. Yeah. You're almost full HP. There's no point. What is it? Great. Let me check my.
Don't let me down. Riding the west wind.
There we go.
I will protect all beauty. Fortrella. To the soul. I choose you. Beauty is eternal.
Who's the little backstabber?
Insanity. To the soul. Time. Anything. I will protect all beauty.
Self-inflicted misery.
I will protect all beauty.
Wanted to doubt farewell. I will watch over you and guide you on your path.
The beauty is eternal. I will protect all beauty.
Who's the little
Wait a minute. Is this the wrong? Is the wrong video that? Oh no. I don't know why, but what?
Protect all beauty.
I'm pretty sure I asked him. I should only what? Happening? I swear I asked him 6 hours, but my bonus is only 6. Bonus is only, I think it's 4 hours. That's pretty weird. Sunday. I love Sunday. Mention that yet? I believe there are others. But it's not this Sunday. Sunday 5. Actually, I don't mean actually Sunday. I don't like him. I like his other question that live in my head. That's what I think. Anyway, what the fuck?
Don't let me down. Riding the west wind.
It's 5 hours. It's 6 hours, guys.
I will protect all beauty.
Self-inflicted misery.
I choose you.
I see. I actually uploaded the wrong video.
I will protect all beauty. Beauty is eternal.
Self-inflicted misery.
I will protect all beauty.
I see. I see.
Insanity.
But this is not the right video.
Wanted to doubt farewell. Watch
Oh,
over
so
you and guide you on your path.
I'm actually need to download this. That
Protect all
video go.
beauty.
Oh, it's 100%. That should not happen. He's immortal. He's untouchable. He's invincible.
Self-inflicted misery.
I will protect all beauty.
Protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty. Super winning streak. Look at that. Sure, like 15 more. Temporary 아니 temporary. temporary. 이거 왜 아니세요? Damn it. What is that? What is it? What is it now? That's how doing it.
Repay.
Hey,
I always deliver. Riding the west wind. Let me go!
I will protect all beauty.
protect all beauty.
Backstabber.
Insanity. Receive divinity. I choose you. Beauty is eternal.
Self-inflicted misery.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty. Anyway,
Wretched.
I'm downloading my fucking screen, but Jesus, I don't know why though.
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty.
To the soul. Captain.
Wanted to doubt farewell. I will watch over you and guide you on your path.
Go, go,
Protect
go.
all beauty.
Boom.
The little backstabber.
And Jet is pretty. It is pretty off metal, no? Right now.
I will protect all beauty.
Good.
Self-inflicted misery.
Why not the first?
Beauty is eternal. Bloom. I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty. Go, go, go. What's to sell? Is there someone? Maybe no. This is not bad, dude. I haven't stopped that. god. 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 This is unreal, dude. Fucking unreal. Unreal. That is so fucking unreal. Fuck. I'm so mad. I'm fucking mad.
Repay.
Don't let me down.
Don't let me down.
I will protect all beauty.
Your turn. Cool. God, what do I tell? This is like happiness. Oh my god, so stupid. You're so stupid, guys. Well, I am beyond stupid. There you go. One more. One more. More, I swear. One more. One more, dude. Okay.
Repay.
Oh my god. What's that?
I always deliver.
That. That inside it. Okay.
I will protect all beauty.
Self-inflicted misery.
To the soul. Receive divinity. I will protect all beauty.
Oh, beauty. Awesome.
To the soul. We can do it.
You can do it. Also, I am.
How does that feel?
Serenity is before me. I will watch over you and guide you on your path.
Here on your
Protect all
side.
beauty.
Self-inflicted misery.
Losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Dude.
We can do anything. Wretched and fleeting. I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all of you there. Awesome.
Insanity. To the soul.
I will protect all of you there.
Ready? Who will it be?
Am I even going to win? There we go.
Receive divinity.
Yes,
I
definitely.
will protect all beauty.
I will protect all of you there. Okay, don't win so hard.
Beauty is eternal.
Self-inflicted misery.
Wow.
How do you like that?
I think we're winning, guys. Or am I crazy?
I will protect all beauty.
I will protect all beauty. Yes.
Receive divinity.
1 million? That's crazy. I never really hit that.
Torment and doubt farewell.
2 million actually.
Wretched and fleeting.
Who's the little backstabber?
2 million? Wow, it's possible? Of course it's possible. Game have fucking millions, trillions, I don't know limits actually, but people have idea. I'm not really tuned in with this currency water. I'm not even tuned into power, but yeah. Right, I need to. Hmm. Okay. What are my problems? Oh my god, I almost full. Oh my god, I'm full of that. Idiot. Fuck. My god.
My strength isn't what it mountains fall. Dragon rise!
Trying is
Soaring above the lands.
This is permanent.
Blessing in disguise.
Faster, dude.
Can you find the answer?
Okay, find the answer. Boom.
Test of luck. An explosive start.
Like that.
Clouds have scattered.
Feeling sticky?
Please. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, we are safe. We are so safe. We are so safe. God. I almost lose my mind. It's fine now, it's fine.
My earth shatters, heaven trembles. Soaring above the
Tumble.
lands. This
This is permanent. Ridiculous.
Observe the heavens with my divinations.
Divination.
That omen. Don't thank me. Test of luck. An explosive start.
Can you find the answer?
That omen. Don't thank me.
Sorry, I was a bit silent. I was thinking about something really weird.
Observe the heavens with my divinations.
Anyway. We're almost done, dude.
Test
Look
of
at that.
luck.
Look at the time.
Explosive start.
Only 1 hour. We're done. I'm
Stars
kidding.
favor us.
I mean, 10 minutes earlier.
Feeling sticky?
I'm pretty sure I didn't actually mean that. I did say it. I don't know if I
Don't
correct
thank me.
myself immediately or not, but definitely not 10 minutes. Don't move. Oh my god.
soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
It's permanence.
Test of luck. An explosive
Are
start.
they dead? They're not dead. Oh, they're dead.
Observe
Their bond
the
is kinda
heavens
good.
with my divinations. That omen.
Jeez.
Don't thank me.
God.
Can you find the answer?
Can you find the answer? Boom.
Test of luck. An explosive start.
They're actually dead now. But is it the last battle? Oh my god!
Above the lands. This is permanence!
This is not the end
The
though.
heavens with my divinations. That's the plug. An explosive start.
So a long day of playing Minecraft is kinda tiring.
Like that, huh? Can you find the answer?
That chicken. I'll take that. Take it. No. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I mean, whatever. Whatever. Oh my god. Should I regret my stuff? I'll deal with that later. Later days, later whatever. Wait, I'm putting thing next to this. Whatever. Yogong? Where is Yogong? What is Yogong? Yogong one dot, what's one what? I mean, eventually I will also. It's also have other custom proxy that need this set no? Kinda good either way. So that's fun. Fun nama. This one. Nice. What's this good there. I usually just make this fun or ornament, no? Yeah, ornaments are not really matter. Unless I really get a good one. I don't. Without it, I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah. Wait, no. Nope. Let's go empty out our fucking. As it's called actually, I think forgot. And by the way, I'm spending all my. I think I'm doing a 10 pull on the other banner now. I mean, if I can. I mean, I should be able to do that. What the fuck? Let's do the you know, so let's get. Okay, I almost sleep up. Yeah, sleep up. I almost sleep up. Okay. Cool. Really cool. Cool lord, dude. Do I care? I used to care about this. I just follow along the game, the storyline, because there's really nothing exciting. Right. After Sunday, I really lost interest. After Sunday was Tuesday. I mean, it's my fault that I'm fantasizing too much about it. Kinda lost. It kinda make me lost interest.
Find the answer.
In the end, the answer?
Soaring above the lands. This is
Is this permanence?
Observe the heavens with my divination. Test the plug.
I think it's punchline. Alright. Punchline. This number is punchline, dude. Number over here. Punchline. It's punchline. I think it's punchline, no? I remember it now.
Blessing in disguise.
Oh wow. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's a new mechanic, so it makes sense that I don't remember.
mountains move. Dragons rise. Soaring above the lands.
This is permanence.
Feeling spiffy?
Is it? Go on. Bam. Bam. Ridiculous.
A bad omen. Don't thank me.
Me. Oh yeah. Can't wait to have Sparksicle with us. Also good. Don't
You find the answer.
find the answer. I'm just repeating that line because it's so fun for me. Like, that's all I do. That's all I do. I mean, I used to do this before even streaming, so I think it's only natural for me to continue about it. But I don't know if it's weird. I mean, it's not that weird. People do that. Do that more often than not. Actually, I don't know. What am I saying? What am I saying? More often than not? How would you know?
Explosive start.
I mean, it's not even
The
true.
heavens with my divinations.
It's not even.
Bad omen.
Might be.
Don't thank me.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Ridiculous.
soaring above the lands. This is permanence.
This is permanence. Don't move. God. Oh my god, that's so long.
Test of luck. An explosive start.
Feeling spiffy? Can you find the answer?
Boom. Boom. And then boom. Interesting. Oh my god, that's so bad. No. Please. Please. Something good. Something good, please. Oh my god. Ugh. Whatever, dude. I mean, this is kind of supportive. Thank you. Oh, that is so. Oh, unlucky.
Stars favor us.
Earth shatters, heaven trembles.
Can you find the answer?
Can you find the answer?
Soaring above the lands. This is
This is permanent.
Observe the heavens with my divinations. Don't thank me.
Mountains move, dragons rise! I need to be better.
Yung oh my god, those are just boom. Boom. Boom.
Earth shatters, heaven trembles!
Oh my god,
Soaring above the land!
it's so dead, it's so dead.
Permanence!
Oh look, oh look. Boom. 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 Crazy.
Act of luck. An explosive start.
Explosive star. I mean, I actually, when I first see the, what is called, the punchline and election mechanic, I really don't like it.
Blessing in disguise.
But now it's kind of whatever. I don't even see it at this point.
Find the answer.
I mean, I've gotten used to it. Just not thinking about it so hard, making more tolerable to with shit like this. It's so weird. And I'm not alone. I had a feeling I'm not alone. I am pretty general, pretty normal people. I'm pretty aware of
Blessing in disguise.
pretty aware of normie, dude. Pretty aware, dude. I'm pretty aware. The
Don't thank me.
my majority position is I understand human nature, dude. That's something.
Soaring above the lands! This is permanence!
Observe the heavens with my divinations.
Definition.
Act of luck.
Good. After this, we'll pull in finally. That's and then we end the stream after
Blessing
we
in
pull out.
disguise.
Feeling spiffy?
This is crazy. Finally over. Took so long though. Sorry, it took so long.
A bad omen. Don't thank me.
Don't thanks me. Don't thank me. Don't thank. Oh my god. My accent is pretty thick, you know.
Find the answer.
Don't thank me. Don't thank. Don't thank. Oh. I really confused with the A there. Like, how do you pronounce it? Kind of weird. Anyway, we're done. Oh my god. That happened. That. Ooh. Go, dude, go. I mean, this is not that I said. Isn't this celebrated set? Like, it is, right? I just realized. It is celebrated. What the? What is it? Remember the RMC. RMC. Oh no, RMC. Oh my god, that's good. I thought this was the other side. It will be good on Sparksy. Seeing it good, which I don't know. Then I don't check up. I'm not turning it like that, dude. I'm sorry. What is this? After this, I should have thankful on Thunder. I should have. Okay? If I don't, it's kinda cringe. Kinda cringe if I don't. Kinda cringe. Super cringe actually. I mean, what is going on? Hey Moss, where is it, Moss? What's going on, dude? Okay, fine. Yes, Luis. Come on, mate. Come on, mate. God. Come on. It crashed, dude. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm live. Okay, it cut off, dude. Oh my god. Look up. That's actually good, probably. Okay, I'm back. Hold on, what's going on? What's going on with my OBS, dude? The shit? What the fuck is actually happening? Hello? Okay. Anyway, we'll continue, Tara. And my fucking OBS is messed up with some reason. I don't know. I really don't know. Come on. Just fucking pitch. Jesus Christ. That is a bad. God. God. Please. God. Please. Oh my god. Where is my star right now? Kinda weird. Kinda weird. Wait, I think. Yeah, it's. Where's my star rail? No? What the fuck? That's it. My star rail there. My god. Shit. Hello? Where's my star rail? No, see, I never had star rail crash on me like this before. I mean, star is running, but it it just is not at the same time. Let me wait. Let me wait. While I'm waiting, maybe I need to start my system again. That work on Minecraft. My god. Oh my god. Am I getting banned? No, that's gonna be that's it. That's just gonna be yes. You're silly tall. Ah yeah. Maybe I'm not deleting this. Let's restart it. I'm restarting. I'm restarting maybe. Probably start is better option. So bye bye. God damn it, dude. Wait, why am I picking? That should literally not happen. That should literally not happen, dude. Like, oh my god. I'm picking. Picking, dude. No, I'm picking. Oh shit. Please, please. I don't want to pick. Please. Tell me I'm not picking. Oh my god, I'm picking so hard. My god. God, dude, the shit. What is this setting? I think this is the reason, no? I think I'm fucked, guys. I think I'm fucked. Or maybe not. Maybe it's fine. It's in that case, I don't know. I need to check after sim. If I sound terrible, well, I just say, not my problem right now. Yes. Why am I picking? Why am I picking? Why am I clipping? Why am I clipping, bro? Dun, 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 dun. Please let me have enough. I don't have enough. I'm missing one. I'm missing one. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't get that. Let's do that some other time, dude. This Foxy, that annoying little bitch is still here. And I'm still picking. Wait, I can do that, okay? Actually, I'm stupid. I forgot you get another one from currency war. So actually, we're perfect. We are golden. We are amazing. Oh my god. We are golden. Where is it? That's Foxy. Yeah, fiction. No, that's not it. Fun. We are so golden. We are so golden. Cool. So, look at it. I got nothing. Oh my god, and nothing. Wow. Okay. Okay, nothing. Nothing to. I mean, it's fine. I don't even know. I mean, 13 though. I'm pretty sure that's pretty for me. That's pretty in this banner, so yeah. 3 more days. So that's it. End stream. Bye bye. But I had that crash so much. Literally 3 minutes. Literally 3 minutes. 3 minutes of